Bird feeders come in all shapes and sizes to accommodate the many different feeding preferences of birds, but one group of birds is often overlooked by those who enjoy feeding birds in their backyards. Of course, I'm talking about the birds who feed on the ground. Yes, sometimes you just can't go wrong with tossing some seed onto the ground and watching the birds that come to enjoy it. We have several dozen bird species who love to feed beneath bird feeders here in North America, and in this video, I'm going to share 11 common bird species that you should watch for underneath your bird feeders. Today's lesson, backyard birds that feed on the ground. First up is a bird that is loved throughout North America, the mourning dove. Although these peaceful doves are often one of the largest birds to visit bird feeders, they are a species that's easy to overlook because of their muted colors and habit of feeding on the ground. Those who enjoy feeding birds in their yards won't see a mourning dove perched at a feeder. Instead, they feel most comfortable patrolling beneath bird feeders and eating up seeds that have been discarded by the birds feeding above. If you notice mourning doves rapidly gobbling up seeds that they encounter, don't worry, they're not eating them this quickly. Instead, they're filling their crops before flying off to digest the seeds somewhere safe. Although dark-eyed juncos only hang out in backyards during the winter in most of North America, they deserve a spot on this list because of their sheer abundance from October through March in the United States and Canada. These tough little sparrows often forage in small groups below bird feeders where they devour a variety of seeds that have dropped to the ground. Dark-eyed juncos come in a wide array of plumages throughout their range, but no matter the subspecies, you can count on these delightful songbirds stopping by your property to enjoy a buffet of bird seeds that can be found on the ground around bird feeders. While mourning doves and dark-eyed juncos are welcomed visitors at bird feeders, some birds that like to feed on the ground, like European starlings, are not regarded with much enthusiasm. An invasive species in North America, European starlings are not well liked by the native birds here. Not only do they steal the nesting locations of many cavity nesting birds, but they can also be antagonistic at bird feeders. When a group of European starlings visits a backyard, they often drive other birds away and gobble up the tastiest offerings that have fallen to the ground. Luckily, European starlings don't visit bird feeders too frequently, but when they do, don't be surprised if you see them walking around below the feeders while looking for the best treats. American crows are another bird that loves to feed on the ground. While crows aren't opposed to perching for their meals, the reality for them is that they're simply too big to perch on most bird feeders. That makes the ground an appealing place for American crows to find food. Here they can have their choice of whatever looks the most delicious to them, and thanks to their massive size, there aren't going to be any birds that fight them for their food. Not everyone likes seeing American crows at their feeders, but these songbirds are one of the most intelligent native birds in North America. Taking a few moments to observe their behavior may give you new appreciation of this species. Blue jays are a relative of the American crow, and like their large cousins, they are also very smart. You may see blue jays perching at bird feeders that have offerings that catch their eyes, but they're often just as happy to grab treats from below a bird feeder. A blue jay's favorite food is a peanut, so if there are peanuts scattered below a bird feeder, then you had better believe blue jays will fly in to enjoy these delicacies before squirrels beat them to it. Watching blue jays hop around while searching for food on the ground is a wonderful sight, and few birds can compare to the blue beauty of these jays. White-throated sparrows commonly forage below bird feeders during winter in many parts of the southern United States. In other parts of North America, they readily visit bird feeders during their migrations in spring and fall. These sparrows are not flashy, and they can be rather shy when foraging below bird feeders. They are often found in small groups, and you'll notice that they like to kick both feet to uncover food when foraging. These medium-sized sparrows aren't choosy. They will happily eat most seeds that fall to the ground from the bird feeders above. While white-throated sparrows are a lovely native sparrow species, are a non-native and invasive sparrow that frequents backyards. One of the most ubiquitous songbirds in North America, just about anyone who feeds birds will have experience with these creatures. Very social during the non-breeding season, house sparrows form sizable groups and hop around on the ground while searching for seeds under bird feeders. These birds are very adaptable. Some may feed directly from bird feeders, while others will eat the seeds on the ground that are discarded by the birds feeding above. When house sparrows form large groups in winter, they can quickly clear you out of your seeds thanks to their gregarious natures and insatiable appetites. Red-winged blackbirds may not be a bird that many people think of when considering species that feed on the ground below bird feeders, but those who feed birds in rural North America have likely hosted these birds at their feeders. Red-winged blackbirds frequently visit bird feeders during the non-breeding season. Here they get a chance to fuel up during migration or in the winter when food is scarce. You may only have this species around for a few days a year at your feeders, but if you live near a wetland where they breed, then you may be visited by red-winged blackbirds during the breeding season. It can be easy to overlook the nondescript females, but you can't miss a breeding male red-winged blackbird with his handsome dark plumage and red and orange shoulder patches. White-winged doves are commonly found foraging below bird feeders in the southern United States. Like their mourning dove relatives, they'll fly in and quickly gobble up as many seeds as they can fit in their crops before they retreat to a safer location to digest the seeds. White-winged doves are shy, but anyone fortunate enough to get a good look at this species will admire their bright red eyes and the brilliant blue color that surrounds them. Northern cardinals are perhaps the most beloved and familiar backyard bird in eastern North America. These stunning songbirds delight those who feed birds with their elegant crests and beautiful feathers. Those with northern cardinals on their properties know that these songbirds are just as happy feeding on the ground as they are eating from bird feeders. While northern cardinals will eat a variety of seeds, they especially love black oil sunflower seeds and safflower seeds. As long as your yard isn't completely devoid of trees and shrubs, you can enjoy seeing these birds throughout the year. And finally, I'll conclude this list with a species that is rarely thought of when considering birds that frequent the ground below bird feeders, but it is nonetheless a regular visitor of feeders near woodlands. I'm of course talking about the wild turkey. Yes, when these behemoth birds visit your backyard, you can forget about them trying to access the bird feeders. Luckily, they are content to feed on seeds below the bird feeders. If a gaggle of turkeys learns that you routinely have food available below your feeders, then they may incorporate your property into their rounds and pay you frequent visits. Turkeys can become somewhat tame in these scenarios, and this is very exciting to see, and a fun relationship for any landowner lucky enough to host these lovely birds. Okay birders, which backyard birds that forage below bird feeders did I miss? There are numerous other bird species that enjoy foraging beneath your bird feeders rather than the feeders themselves. So what species do you see doing this on your properties? Drop a comment below and let me know. That's going to conclude our lesson for today. Thank you for tuning in to Worldwide Birder Classroom. Class is now dismissed.